architect of your own future, your own life.
Yes.
So it spoke with me. So I believe that. So I took that out. And when they were sharing properties, my brother, because I was a stubborn guy who would fight anybody over what I believed in. And I told them I wasn't coming. They said, if you don't want, collect and give us now. If you don't want, I said, you know what? You can collect and keep. Until date, they still collect rent, we have houses and everything. I've not collected one dime. Rather, I said, and then it wasn't because I was okay or I had a place to sleep, I was comfortable, because I just said, you know what? Keep it. I'll go out there and succeed.
Do you think it's very hard being a man in Nigeria?
I think it's very hard being a man anywhere, especially if you're black and African. Yeah.
That's political.
Big bro, is there anywhere it's easier to be a man? Let's start going there.
But then why?
Because as a man, there's so much expected from you.
Yeah.
Would you
rather come back as a woman?
No.
Let's assume there's a time to come back. Would you rather come back as a woman, or you want to come back as a man?
But hear me in this point. Not that it's any easier to be a woman.
Exactly.
But as a man, we still have our lane. No. As a man, we also have our lane and our responsibilities and our, should I call it man things? I don't know. Like things that we do as men that you cannot fall short of, especially when you're cut from a cloth of high esteem, in the sense that even though you come from poverty, your father was a man of principle. And he held everything to high standards, and he does not expect anything less of you. So you're going to have a son, and you're going to literally do the same thing and not expect anything less of what you have trained him to be.
Yeah, but the thing is that it applies to daughters too.
Yes, so that's
It
what I'm saying.
applies the
It doesn't
same
mean
ways.
that it's any easier to be a woman, but I don't think I would want to change being a man. But I do think that we have our difficulties as men, and there's a lot of burden, there's a lot of pressure. Of different things in life that we go through. It's not easy, especially being black.
I spoke with my colleagues at work that, let's say, for instance, there's a comeback scenario. They rather come back as a woman or as a guy. They said they want to be women.
Really?
And I said, why? Really? They said women, they are enjoying. They said women, they stay at home or they work. Even if they work, they don't pay for house rent, they don't pay school fees, they don't buy petrol, they don't pay for phone call, that their man is the one in charge. He pays the house rent, and he does everything.
Just going through my bank account. Something's going on wrong here.
So because of that, they felt women are enjoying. Not that they are lazy, because they are my colleagues.
Yeah.
They are work, they come to work.
Are you married?
No.
Okay, that's not a good an accurate perspective, because you see, married women, they go through a lot. You understand, because of the responsibility. The same way as married men, the reason why we go through a lot is because we're married. So when you're just like a single guy or a single babe, it's a totally different perspective. But when you become married, it's totally different, because as a man, like you're a married man, you have to take care of your family, but at the same time, your wife is the person who takes care of the home. So taking care of the home and taking care of the kids is different from going out there to earn a living and get money to put food on the table, and it's relative. Can you really say one is more important than the other? You understand what I'm saying? They are complementary roles, and you can't actually put a value on
but I
either
think
or.
I think the gray lines in between this white and black.
Exactly.
There are loads of women who are breadwinning as we speak.
True.
There are loads of women who deal with the kind of pressure. There are a lot of women who, when it's school fees time, it's more of the woman's headache than the man's headache. So I don't think it's that straightforward.
It's not that straightforward, actually.
If I were to make a comparative analysis, I think it's easier to be a man in Nigeria and Africa than it is to be a woman. I think society has structured men will get away with a lot of stuff. Yeah, there's a pressure to deliver, but even the guys who cannot deal with the pressure, they can choose to be loafers, they can choose to be responsible men. The people
And they'll still have it better than women.
they'll still have a better deal. I think there's something about our culture, there's something about religion that has put women in a certain role that makes it, first and foremost, there's some kind of serious devaluation, right? And I say this with all sense of responsibility. Women deal with a lot of suppression from men. Women deal with worse suppression from women.
Yeah.
From women, from fellow, women folk. Now, it's the practical Nigerian scenario. You'll find out that 9 out of 10 times, if your girlfriend or your wife is going to have a rough time dealing with your family, it's likely going to come from your sisters or your mom than your dad. There are very few occasions where your brother would come in and give your girlfriend a hard time. Yeah. It's the women who would say, why is she dressed like that? Why is she not back at 4? Why did she not cook for you? Why? So I think 2017, being a man in Nigeria is a lot easier than being a woman.
I think it's easier,
I think it's a lot easier than being a woman.
I mean, in Africa, they tend to put a lot of pressure on men. Men, you're meant to provide for your family, you're meant to take care of your family, you're meant to do this, you're meant to do that. If people are going on holiday, oh yeah, pay for it. But if you look at the truth, women can work as well and get the amount of money that you're using to pay for all of those things, right? But if you're married and if you have a child, stay at home for 1 week with that child, only you by yourself, and then you find out that what they do, is not, what they do is not that easy. Like even taking care of whatever goes on in the home, and taking care of the emotional side of men. Men can be very emotional and not even share, and the women, they are given that responsibility to find out what is wrong with the men, take care of their egos, take care of their emotional part, and then at the same time, push those men into where they are meant to get to in the future. So there's a lot that rests on the shoulders of women, and I don't think it's even easier because at the same time, they may be working, and also providing.
The reason why she wasn't too scared with my seemingly crazy decisions about work and money and all of that. She said she figured out, okay, if I don't make any money, she'll make enough money to run everything.
Exactly.
That was her mindset. It wasn't like she had money kept somewhere, but she was tough enough to okay, if it comes good for him, fine. He will do what he needs to do. Mm-hmm. If he doesn't, hey, I can provide, for myself, right? So, no, but the thing about this whole women, men, treatments, expectations, I think that the rules they're fast changing. The guys who provide everything, if you ask me, I think making money and providing for the family, which is in line with what I think it's a lot easier, a lot more straightforward than if my wife was away for 3 months. Our younger sister had a baby in Texas, and she had to be there for her, take care of her, and all of that. Guy, I learned respect. I learned respect. I've always had a lot of respect for what she does, but you wouldn't believe. My son, please, mommy, come home. The home is falling apart. We lost 4 out of our 6 dogs. As in, it's crazy because she's the one who knows if the dogs are in good condition, if the Megad guys are, if she basically puts everything together. And you would think that, okay, you just drop money. There are times she drops money stopgap. She fixes stuff sometimes way before she even asked me. And sometimes when I send the money, it's really a refund because she's not going to fold her arms and watch.
Oh
So
my goodness, that hit home. He said that sometimes when he sends the money, it's really a refund. That's the way it is. Because your wife is not going to wait too long for you. She'll tell you something, and after a certain time transpires, she has done it. So you now end up with a bill. You understand? It's not like you know that I did this and I did that and I did this. And that's the amazing thing.
I met my wife when I was nobody. I was not popular.
Same with me.
I was not Kenny Ogungwe. So after meeting her, I was working at OGBC. Say, I'm going to work. I said, okay, go. If you like, don't come back. That was like when we were, when we were boyfriend and girlfriend. And then by the time I now got married, she now was feeling what I was doing, but she was really not deep into it. She let me do whatever I want to do, and she take good care of home, which I really, really appreciate. If you are watching, I appreciate you. Because what she did, she never and never interrupted whatever I wanted to do, but allowed me, give me a free hand. And she doesn't even watch TV. She doesn't listen to radio. But music, because in my room I have to listen to music. She will hear the music. I say, isn't that one sound nice? And again, anytime she said that one sound nice, I pick it. That's a good, because she has good ears.
I remember the time where, I remember very vividly, like the paper said something about Hummers, matching Hummers. Now, there's something about Hummers. There's something about matching Hummers, tag team, best friends, Batman and Robin. Do you understand what I mean?
I don't want to call names, but there was a time that some big artists that they bought matching cars. And I just remember I said that, they started it. So they really did start it because you see with that matching Hummers, before they did it, I don't think anybody did it. Abi?
it was a bit more than
Like
it was a bit more than that. It was a bit more
It's
than
a
that.
bit more than that.
As a
But at least
duo.
does Hummers sound familiar? Because I remember vividly in the paper something matching Hummers.
No.
And I remember the
Let me
feeling
try to
inside.
break
But big bro, you guys actually bought
try to-
matching Hummers.
It was worse than that. Let me try to break this thing down, right? Because I was a journalist, I was a writer, and I followed the industry, single after single, artist after artist. We had conversations with everybody. This is probably the best way I can describe it. There's heaven, and there's earth. And between heaven and earth, there's the gateway. That was Keke and D1. So it wasn't a conversation about, those are just symptoms of the problem, manifestations of at a point, you almost needed to go through Keke and D1.
I wish the second way
Perspective, that beyond matching Hummers, beyond all of that, the key thing was power and influence.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying about heaven, earth, and the path that you walk through. So you could have had matching Hummers, and it's just for the effigy of it, right?
Yeah.
You could have had a radio show that was popular, and it's just, okay, these guys are a radio duo. But you had two people who were the epitome of power. And if you know better than I do, whether you're in Hollywood or the most powerful people, the most important people are the power players, right? Whether you're Barry Gordy, whether you're Didi, you're the guys who can make it happen. And when they walked through the door, what you saw was the guys who could make it happen. So it was a lot more than, there was flash, there was showbiz, there was the music, there was the label, there was all of that. But more importantly,
People I've never seen before.
yes, more importantly, they made you stop and accept the fact that this were the premier power players in the emerging music industry.
Like the
so
Pulse.
technically, if this were
The heartbeats.
if this were back in ancient Greece, right? This would be this would be Zeus and probably Neptune, right? This is God status. This is not. It's not about cars or clothes. This is the ability to pick something, pick an artist, pick a song, and transform a regular Festac, Surulere, Ajegule kid to a bona fide international star that was getting inquiries everywhere from Imo to Miami. So so that's the key. That was the real thing.
The
So
ability to share with millions of people.
lots of people, a lot of people.
Anybody. I mean,
From Remedies to San Sultan to True Face Idibia to in short, even guys who were not signed to Kenny's music. If you
What
got
is it about this Festa crowd?
Festac is a state. It's just that they are not,
even if you were not signed to Kenny's music as an artist, but you had the co-sign, you had the endorsement, right?
But I must say something. Sorry to cut you off. I must say something. There was a time for a whole year. Of course, I know you remember. Every time the time was 10:10 in the morning, they would play 10 over 10. Oh, wow. If that's not favor and grace, I don't know what that is. But to get that kind of cosign, and you know the ironic thing is that I told you how we used to sneak downstairs to watch AIT jams, only to think of how in the next 12 or 13, 14, 15 years, they'll be playing
your
like
music.
A song of mine at 10:10.
Okay, I'm going to start from where Remy stopped. He was talking about Navigator. We had 2 American SUVs, one Lincoln Navigator and one Ford Expedition. That was first. Then before anybody knows anything, we had 2 brand new yellow Hummers. I'll be very honest with you. We got the Hummer Jeeps to make a statement that this industry, they don't respect the industry. Again, this is a vehicle that it has a lot of money for you to get it. And again, we just didn't get one, we got 2. That's to say, wow, if they're getting this kind of money in entertainment, I will encourage other people to get involved and again, so that they can say, okay, this is my career. But going back to sets of cars, after that, we have 4 brand new Range Rover Sports. 4. One for myself, one for D1, one for ID, and one for Tubaba. And it was like, what's going on? But come to think about it, if you look at where the money came from, the money for the white SUVs did not come from music. I'm saying that here clearly. It came from media. Because we into media and we run adverts and we run sponsorship of events. And again, the same thing with the Hummer, but the Range Rover came from Tubaba, from his music. Then ID, myself, and D1 also still came with media and slightly from music.
Well, can I ask you a question? Sorry, I wanted to ask him a present question. Do you think that it's still relevant to prove those kind of points now?
yes.
Well, yes and no. Because at that time, people did not respect the industry. With that kind of flamboyancy, they put a lot of respect came in. And people also now, they went all out. But now, I see people in front of a Lambo. A Lambo, give and take, 200, 250, 300,000 US dollars. If you multiply that by 360, you're talking about 100 million naira. How many records you want to sell?
2.
That will make you 100 million naira. How many shows you want to perform? I mean, you're an ambassador. How many shows that they're going to endorsement you're going to get? That so there's a lot of fake lifestyle involved that has been used to cover people's eyes. Which that's why I said yes and no. In talking about reality.
So this is the no.
Yes.
So where is the yes?
Yes is the fact that he encouraged people to get into the business.
But that's what I'm saying. Do you think now?
Yes. I said that
we
time.
need to. No, I'm saying now.
Yes.
I'm saying with what's happening now.
Yes.
Do you think now we need to encourage younger people that, man, there's money here. Oh.
People know already.
Exactly.
People know already.
People know that people are making money, but the money they are making is not as much as what they are showcasing.
So that's where the no comes in.
So, okay, yes.
Yes.
People are making money,
So
but
they're
not
making
as
money,
Not
much
as much. I don't
they
know
are
if
showing
Ife is
up.
agreeing with me or not.
No, because
it's not.
I'm saying now, there's a way that an artist now, you spend money, and you now motivate positively.
Yes.
There's a way you spend money or you make it look as if you're spending money, but you're really lying to people. So what I'm saying is that, like now, like somebody might, package one deal that they are driving, that they just capped one $500,000 car. You understand? Half $1 million car, like, as opposed to, okay, you know what, I just used $500,000 and I bought like 10, 15 houses in Aja. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there's a way that you might spend the money that, do we still need to be buying like those? Do we need to be doing? Because what you did at the time you did it, like I was explaining to you, it's other artists actually copied you, and it worked at that time. But this period now, do we still need to be?
Well, when we bought the car, we enjoyed the car. And again, when we bought the car, we wanted to enjoy the car.
But it was a statement at that time. It was strategic at that time.
Strategic statement.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
But
I
I also think that it's necessary now because on a positive note, we still need to inspire and we still need to let people know. Because the way I see it, especially coming as a DJ in Nigeria, usually you're seen like the houseboy of the event. Some people don't even pay attention to you. Sometimes you go to events and they don't even count you as part of the head. So you need to show. You need to show that you should be respected. And for most people here, for instance, coming from it, and it comes from how we were saying before, charity begins at home, structure and all that. When we're talking about structure, it begins in your domot. Like, you need to be able to show that you can take care of yourself. You need to look presentable, and you also need to understand the business and show that you understand the business so that you're taken seriously. Versus you get called for a gig and you just show up. Like, so for instance, now you get called for a wedding and you show up in a tracksuit.
You're not dressed properly.
You're not dressed properly, so people are just going to push you. They're going to hide you behind stage. Like let them not even see. But then you show up for the wedding in a suit. They want to show that, okay, this guy understands where he is, and then from that, you translate to the crowd that, okay,
My DJ came in a suit.
So he understands where so you even get booked for more gigs because you understand. So you show up at for a club gig, and then maybe you have to.
That's a different one.
But you have what I'm trying to get at is that you have to.
It's talking about flamboyance.
But then with the light,
because
I
AG.
want to throw to DJ Obi as well.
Yeah.
Because I understand and especially for DJs, it's
Yeah.
like you're coming from like.
But
like
guess
lower
what?
Round, like with the because like DJs
Versus an
like-
artist.
Exactly.
You're coming-
But
guess what?
The people of the era of the DJ Obis have had to transform, and then I think it throws to a bigger question how big social media plays in all, whether it's like the manager, the artist, or what you would call it, or the promoter, whatever it is, DJ. How does social media play in elevating your particular style?
What I'll say is simply this. There are always going to be people who get high of stuff like that. Even private parties, Owambe, some people show up dressed like it's 4th of July, right? They're going to do what they want to do. My key worry is whether it's real or fake, whether you can afford it or not. If you put yourself under the pressure to live up to a standard that your paychecks cannot afford, you're creating problems for yourself. If you can, there's a lot of money in the music industry. You don't need to prove that to anybody today. There are multimillionaire parents that are having conversations with me. There are people who say, my son is upset about this music stuff. I want to support him, but just give me professional guidance. Is there talent here, or is it just...
Still being on this side of the line where before you were seeing, or the people that you were talking to...
It's everything. It's everything.
Now it's like people that can... Like,
No, Kemi,
my son talented.
it's satisfaction is validation. There was a time I couldn't explain to my folks what I do. I have an elder sister. I had an elder sister who would ask me, "Can you tell me what is it that you do in one word, not a sentence, not a phrase?" And I would say, are you the singer? No. Are you the this? No. So what?
So who are you in
Because
this photo?
in a situation where she sees the artist as this low, and you're coming across like you are lower than the artist, she cannot find a word to describe what you do, right? I've had friends who, growing up, they want to hang out, I'm writing, and it becomes an excuse, it becomes something to insult me with, like, this stuff they write, which they write, as in you want to write to heaven. Then 15 years later, 20 years later, they need to pay their rent. Their backs to the wall. And I need to send some money to help some guy who thought I was wasting my life writing, which they write when it makes sense. And it's income from writing, right? So there's validation, there's satisfaction. There are people who, years ago, who would ask the artist, they'll ask you to tell the artist to call them. The people I've dealt with over the last a decade and a half, who came across like it was beneath them to engage a manager. So it feels like I'm MD of this company. I want to be speaking to the MD of that company. I should not be speaking to the secretary. I should not be speaking to the GM or anybody. And that's the mentality. We have a lot of that. That's a problem on its own. It's a big problem. But what I'm just saying generally, it's gratifying. There are a lot of satisfaction from the fact that you can make music and be respected. I'm dealing with guys who were in school with me who chose to do something else, right? Who probably for the first few years thought I was a lost soul, who would now tell their friends that they know me, who would tell their girlfriends, who would call, like they're having a party somewhere and they just put me on the phone so they hear me, so that let people know that they know me, right? So you get a lot of satisfaction from that. However, flossing, living some IG life and all that, for me, it just basically depends on your bank balance. And it's the same with everything. If you can afford a Lamborghini, please, buy one. If you make enough money, right, to expend 20 million naira in a party, and the next day your kids' school fees are not pending, your whatever, fine. But if you're going to do that to impress me, and when you leave there, you're indebted, when you leave, you can't put food on your table, then something is wrong. Yeah.
Okay, so very interesting. Growing up in my music career, I had to deal with a lot of questions about how I'm living, how I'm able to make it, how are you staying afloat, that word, especially with the kind of music you do, like how are you able to make money from it, and for a very long time, I was not the loud person on social media. I'm not, but that was not my personality at all. Like, so even like going out to clubs and showing myself, I don't enjoy that, so I live a very quiet life. I do my show, I do my gig. You call me to Abuja, I go, I collect my money. If you call me to a corporate show, I go, I do, come back home. I don't need to show anybody. I was driving a Toyota Camry, and all these questions were disturbing my life. So I now said, okay, since you're asking me plenty of questions, I remember I traveled to the States. I said, okay, I bought a car in the States. And then I said, by the time I enter any gig, any party, you will know that I've arrived, Yeah. And later on, when I grew up, I started to discover that there's no point, I really don't have to do that because I don't owe anybody anything. I have a family, I'll take care of my family, I make sure everybody's okay. Now the thing that I didn't do was to get in debt to do that. I could afford the car, it was a car I liked, and I bought it. But the thought behind it of I must show them was the only problem. That is not meant to happen. If you like the car, you can afford it, you can buy it, buy it. But the thought behind it should change. It shouldn't be, I'm going to show them. It should be, I'm just going to enjoy this ride and have a great time. But I had to get there from different things. In fact, there was a time I randomly heard something happening on radio, some success thing, some financial thing, and I just went for it. I just applied for it and just went for it. And when I got there, the lady was like, it's like I see somebody I recognize here. Is that Biz? I'm like, yeah. So she started talking about how when you make money, the first 30% is not even for you, put that into savings. She was asking, okay, you have 100% of your salary. What comes from your salary? Oh, your car comes from your salary. Your feeding comes from your salary. Children's school fees come from your salary. Rent comes from your salary. Expenses, fuel come from. So what is actually going to make that money for you in the future? Because it never stops. It never stops. So you're meant to take a part of that money, keep it, invest it. That money continues to make money for you. And as you make more money, you invest it. The goal is to be able to make a certain amount of money and put everything in investment. And then your profit is what is paying for your lifestyle. Anyway, so I had to learn that, over time. And I had to learn it too with everything I had, and having a wife that is also very smart to encourage me and tell me that, listen, you have to be grounded. First of all, do not allow pressure get to you. I'm someone that doesn't allow pressure get to me. But then if you have pressure coming from outside and you can't handle it, it may get to you. But that is the goal of a great wife, to be able to help you, to understand even who you are better. And with the help of a great wife, with the help of great mindset, and with the help of things around me, studying, I was able to realize that, listen, I don't have to do this. I can go out there. In fact, I can buy a Beetle today and just spray paint it with graffiti, put yellow wheels on it, and call it my style. Do you understand what I mean?
Like people we don't get informal or maybe even to a certain extent formal education on what money really is and understanding money. And there used to be a time for creative people. There used to be a time maybe December, you do 2-3 shows, you make a whole load of money, and nobody will ever advise you. There used to be a time that bank accounts were not even cool. Like ATM cards, we're not really using ATM cards. So when you do shows, you have the money and you keep it in the cupboard or under the mattress. That time was real. And then you go to Bacchus, you take one bundle, you understand, and then in the heat of the moment, you have seen 1 or 2 girls, you have touched your girl, you understand? You buy 2 or 3 bottles of champagne, and it happens every day. It happens every day. It happens every day. In fact, there's a way that you will drink. Which another thing. No, it's true. It's true. Listen, alcohol is so crazy. When you drink alcohol, it starts to mess up with the quality of your decisions. Yes. You understand? Making. And you might be perfect, but you might just get to a sticky situation. And then your decision making now becomes poor. and then money, when you have the access to the money, you just want to do something and the thing you realize is stupid. It happens to all people who drink alcohol. Yeah. Now, people don't give you good advice look, your money, don't keep your money in the accounts that you, sometimes you're with some people, you want to pay for something, you ask the person, current or savings, the person will say savings. Why are you spending out of your savings? You understand what I'm saying? Some people, what they do is that the money that they have for that day, in their current, they have transferred the money. So when that money finishes, everything has finished. You have to start going home because you cannot sustain anything. Yes, you understand what I'm saying? Some people, that's their own strategy. Are you understand what I'm saying? Because there was a time where the money we were making, there are places, after Nikon Town, in and around Nikon Town, Pinnock Estate, thereabouts, you could have bought land there. Mm-hmm. But nobody advised us. Nobody called us. And
what we have done, most of our processes, and that's why we are very notorious for canceling contracts, right? I don't want to be successful with you for a year or 2, and the 3rd year, you can't pay your rents. Right? So what we've done in some cases is to make it impossible for the artist to squander his money.
But that's a problem.
But how do you
Because,
do
but
that?
no, because, hold on, no, I'm sorry. It's a problem. No, it's a problem. Because I'm the artist. It's my money.
And an artist.
I want to spend it now.
Okay.
Hold on.
I'm the manager.
You're the manager.
I'm not
okay.
your PA.
Quite all right. You're not
I'm
the
not
PA.
your PA.
You're not the PA. So,
I'm not.
first of all, there's already fight. There is brewing.
Not everybody has.
You understand what I'm saying?
Your
You're
way of
Your
handling.
fight is already
You
brewing.
take yourself out of it. You are not part of this.
You're not part of this.
You're not.
The managers
You are not.
Because at the end of the day, I've worked with Big Bro before. You understand? But it's me. I can't speak for any other person. You understand what I'm saying? It's me. So I know he's the way I was brought up. That's the way, I relate with him. But I can't speak for any other person. But at the end of the day, somebody who they believe that money is their money, and you now want to tell them how they're going to spend it, even if it's their mom.
I'm going to throw it to you, but then I just wanted to, so when you're handing out, is it a problem? Because I feel like it is.
It is.
With creatives, they don't think about how to save money.
Creatives
how
don't
to
want responsibility.
rotate money.
Creatives don't want responsibility. That's what the truth of the
Well,
matter
I'll
is.
tell you, creative people they are not serious.
They
are not serious. They make the money now.
Yes.
They want to blow the money now.
Now,
Because they feel, majority of them, they feel that another money is coming.
No, so Mr. K,
Yes.
do they honestly feel like another money is coming? Or I haven't seen this kind of money in my entire life? I need to.
What can I do with it now?
At the beginning of a creative person getting successful, they may feel that way. But once they are successful, they see the money. I mean, these babies, they make money every weekend. They make, from September to December, is busy. And once they see that they're making the money, is coming in regularly, they get carried away. They don't see time to save the money, like he was saying. Yeah. And that's when he gets upset. That this is the wet season. Let's save some money, because after December, it's going to be dry.
So you're the business.
Let me replay a scenario. This time, 7-8 years ago, a friend of mine who's an artist had this really, really huge song, really big song. And he wanted some kind of management deal. Of course, we couldn't afford to do a management deal, so we had a consultancy type arrangement. And every time he called for a meeting, we would meet at one hotel somewhere in Ikeja. Now, at every point in time, there were at least 3 or 4 rooms booked under his name. So he had his crew, he had, the groupies, he had, After the second meeting, I asked Don T, my former partner, to tell him that we're not going to have the next meeting at that location, that we probably should meet somewhere else. Long story short, I called him and I said, do you know why I don't want to meet with you at this hotel? He said, I don't understand why you're living in a hotel in Lagos, Nigeria. If this were Atlanta and you were here for a week and we're having meetings at a hotel, I'd understand. You're not always going to be making this kind of money. It's very responsible of me to come. First thing you must do if you're going to have a conversation, you want consultancy, management consultancy service, right? Is to rent a flat or buy a house. As long as you stay in the hotel, I'm not going to have a meeting with you. I even forgot about the conversation. Early last year or so, we met somewhere. He had a new song. He was trying to break back into the industry, and was telling someone that, this guy did something. Every time this guy, so I got like, what happened? What reason why I do you? So do you remember so and so here, at one hotel near off Allen? Do you know we had a meeting? I had this whole stuff. Remember what you told me? I said, what did I tell you? You said, if I continued staying in that hotel, you're not going to have a conversation with me. And you didn't. Now, it didn't make any sense to me then, but I wish today that I'd listened to you.
That's the way it is now.
If you're going to, I think the first conversation is, we're not, you don't hire me as a manager. We have a contractual agreement, right? You are You play a role. I play a role. What you do is very important, same as what I do. We are in a partnership. I have physical, material, emotional investment in your career. I'm not going to allow you make all the bad decisions and make my work impossible. So once I notice that there's a misalignment, I cancel the contract.
I actually want to tell the story about how.
Okay, go ahead.
And NATO, the NATO connection, and NATO like you never did.
You know, it was right?
Huh?
Yeah, it was so we're touring different clubs, and they picked 5 producers that they were meant to bring forward 5 artists, you know, to promote. So I was one of the artists. I think it was Blaze, Johnny Flames, Ice Prince, and Mo Cheddar. You know, so we're going around different clubs and we're performing, you know, and they were, you know, cutting down the people. So the last 3 people that remained were Ice Prince, and Mo Cheddar. And then we had this finale, you know. So after we performed at the finale, they were meant to break it down to the first 2 people. So we got on stage, and then they were like, all right, so the person that has to leave now, you know. And then there were 3 people that were the judges. NATO C. NATO C, Andre Blaze, another hip-hop head. Kemi Adetiba, another hip-hop head.
Oh, Lord. You didn't have any...
So I didn't have any chance.
No
you know.
chance. No chance for you.
So, meanwhile, Mocheda had come to give them vibes there. Ice Prince had come to give them rap. I mean, I was there with my alternative music. You know, so they kept on telling Kemi to announce it because none of them wanted to announce it. Kemi didn't want to announce. But Kemi she was like, no, guys, this ain't right. This ain't right. You know, then Kemi just said, well, I mean, Bez, you gotta go. But Kemi said something that day. She was like, one of your songs, Stop Pretending, I'm actually gonna help you shoot a video for that. Wow. You know. And you know, from that day, you know, a lot of people don't know, but she shot my first video, More You. Another video that and at a huge discount. Another video she shot was Say, and we shot that in New York. What she told me was that just buy your plane ticket and come. We'll shoot a video for you. Wow. And that was how.
No, that's not that.
No, let him land. Let him land now. It's at the airport. It's at the airport. He must land. He can't make a U-turn. So let him land now. It's at the airport now.
So can somebody take Kemi out for a minute?
From that experience, for me, you know, me going out that last, on stage 3 and going out, I thought I should have won that whole thing, you know, because I felt that my musicality was more than everybody else. But then it wasn't about the musicality, you know, it was about, you know, how did it relate to the crowd? What was the in thing? What was, you know, all of that, you know. But for me, I took from that whole experience, you know, I took from it that, listen, if I'm able to capture somebody who I admired, you know, I was calling her Ma, then now I don't even call her Ma. Now she's my guy. You know, but I was able to capture that, and that really gave me the confidence, you know, to do what I do. But I would say something, you know, about even alternative music in Nigerian scene and everything. You know, a lot of people come to me and say, we do your type of music. No, you don't do my type of music, because I find that a lot of people just come with their guitars and try and make, you know, sad music that is not even nice or sweet. Yeah, truly. You know, and I say the thing is, you know, with any kind of music you make, you have to make it commercial, but in your own way. Commercial is good. You're not selling out. Don't worry. I mean, even if you sell out, you're going to get a lot of fans. But commercial is good. Know what you want, know what you do. Create music that people will love and enjoy, but in your own way. Make your performances memorable. Put in work, and it will get you somewhere. You know, and that's exactly what is really happening.
I never met you.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm meeting you for the first time.
Yeah.
Today. And again, I saw you from afar.
Yes.
And I've always wondered, what are you doing on as an ambassador.
That was then, though. I'm not. No.
Well,
Yeah.
at that particular time, they asked me, I said, do you know Bess? I said, yeah, I saw him before. I said, what do you think about his music? How is he with I said, well, he must be doing something very, very important. And today I want to tell you, you've done so well.
Thank you very much, sir.
Because it takes a unique person to create a unique thing. And what if you create, Almighty God will bless you.
Amen. Amen.
You know, I appreciate you and I love what you do
Thank you,
for
sir.
a living. I just wanted to say that, let it be captured.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You know.
Thank you, sir. So 2 years ago, we lost a baby, and it wasn't like a miscarriage or anything. You know, my wife actually gave birth.